We're in Port St. John's in the Transkei, down on the wild coast, and we've come here to throw some paddle tails in search of some cob, which are plentiful in this part of the world. They're attracted here by the big river and the freshwater outflow, and we're going to be fishing in the surf from the rocks near the river mouth in areas where the cob could be holding. So let's just run through some of the tackle that I've chosen to bring on this trip, specifically in order to target cob with spinning lures. So the rod is an 11-foot Berkeley Venom Taipan. It's actually an ideal rod for the job. 11-foot gives you enough distance on your cast, and it also gives you clearance of your line over any rocks that may be in front of you. But it's also a light rod, which makes it easy to cast with all day and easy to work lures if you want to actually give them a bit of action yourself. And the other big advantage of this particular rod is that it's got quite a fast action and a nice stiff butt. So if you get a decent fish on, you can actually control him a bit. You can lift him onto rocks if you need to with the help of a wave, and you can pull really hard on him when you need to. So the rod is absolutely perfect for the job. What I've done, just in order to have a nice balanced outfit, is I've matched the PENN Slammer 3 4500 reel onto it, and I find that's a beautifully balanced outfit. Nice and light, the whole thing. As I said, I can throw all day with it. And the Slammer is a great reel for spinning. It's got a good line lay. You don't get a lot of wind knots with it. And it's got an excellent drag. It's a nice, tough, robust, all-round good spinning reel. And what I've put on it in terms of line, specifically for cob, I've got the Berkeley Black Velvet braid, and I've got that in 40 pound. Now I love the Black Velvet braid for a couple of reasons. One, it's really thin for its breaking strain, and that helps a lot with casting distance, and it also means you can fit more onto the spool of your reel. And then the other attribute of this Berkeley Black Velvet that I really love is the fact that it's actually quite a tough braid. Braid is notoriously easy to break off just touching a rock when it's under pressure, but this Berkeley Black Velvet, I find, seems to be able to handle quite a bit of abrasion on rocks without breaking too easily. So it's much tougher than other braids on the market out there. And then I just top that off with about 1.5 meter leader of 80 pound monofilament. And the reason I go so heavy with my mono is that is going to be taking the majority of the abrasion resistance, and we are fishing amongst the rocks. There's a beautiful paddle tail caught cob from Port St. John's, just off the rocks near the lighthouse. Beautiful fish. Gave me a hard time. I had to run around over rocks and everything, but it's a beauty. I'm going to release this fish into this pool, and he can just swim out because the water's flowing out there. Thank you, fish. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Off you go, buddy. The sea's actually pretty rough today, and there's quite a lot of surge and movement, so I've decided to go with a large paddle tail. I'm using these Powerbait Berkeley Ripple shads, and I really like them. There's a few reasons for that. They're quite a tough plastic. They last a long time, and they grip very well on the jig head. They also have these little sort of rough cuts in them, an odd little shape, but what that does is it creates a lot more turbulence in the water, and that also makes your paddle tail flicker around a lot more. So there's a lot of action, and these things don't need to be moving very fast to make a vibration and to attract a cob. You can actually be moving them very, very slowly, and even holding them still in some situations when the water's pulling back over them and it's working that tail. So that's my sort of basic setup for cob fishing. I might make a few small changes here and there, like putting on a weedless style paddle tail, rigged on a swim bait hook, like this one for example, if the cob are holding very close in and around the rocks, and I want to be able to drop my lure right down into the little crevices and cracks around the rocks and see if I can't lure a cob out of a ledge like that. So that would be a specific job for that lure, but otherwise I do like the open hook of a jig head. It does give you the best hookup with cob, but it's also possible to snag up on rocks with it. So it's just nice to have both options on hand.